Welcome back, everyone, to the Art of a Peaceful Mind. My name is Kim Root, your host, and today I'm so excited to have with us Ilona Selke. She is a best-selling author, and the name of her book, the most recent book, is called Dream Big. The universe is listening,
Listening.
right? The
Yes.
universe is listening, and
That's it.
it was a bestseller in the United States and in many other countries, actually, and has just been published in Germany. And also she is the founder of the Shambhala Retreat Center in Bali, which is where we're talking to her from today. So I'm so excited. She's been, she's a really well-known and internationally known speaker and lecturer. So welcome, Ilona. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you for having this show. Thank you for taking it upon yourself and having this. I'm super excited about this segment on intuition, how to develop your intuition, the peaceful mind. You've already heard a lot of contributions to techniques, but mind you, intuition and peacefulness go together. The more quiet we get inside, the louder the inner voice gets. So we'll be talking about techniques of how we'll do it. I'll give you some step-by-step instructions, and if you practice them, you will find your intuition increasing.
Yeah, that's great. That's true. When we get more quiet, then that allows us to go into ourselves, right? More peaceful, more quiet. We can develop. That's beautiful. So, and your book, The Dream Big, The Universe is Listening, also has a lot of simple tips to help people to develop themselves, right?
Yes, actually, you may say simple, and somehow we can distill really potent things to easy to remember steps. Mm-hmm. The iceberg effect is still in effect, even though you just have a thought or a visualize or feel a feeling. Mm-hmm. Once you understand that the universe, holographic as it appears to be, is listening to our very thoughts, especially if we're training ourselves to be quiet first and to increase our intensity of focus, that's when the universe gets to grasp our thoughts. And primarily, it listens to us if we speak the language of imagery and feeling. And that's why we teach whole brain thinking, because we integrate the left brain, the right brain, and the limbic brain, the emotional center, the mammalian brain. So we integrate all brain halves. And learning what each of those brain parts feel comes when you take time to go inward. And the universe responds extraordinarily well when you send a clear message in the language of the universe. And that is with potency of feeling combined with a symbolic imagery. Like when you have that aha, it's like, one single thought expresses a lot, right? Maybe 1,000 words. But yet it is one single moment of going, that's it. And when we want to achieve anything, and that could be increasing our intuition or making $1 million, living our dream life or living our purpose in life, becoming a more spiritual being, we need to be quiet, focus, feel, and see the imagery. And those steps I want to break down into easy to follow techniques, so that even in half an hour that we have right now, you can read it up in my book, Dream Big, and you can do it in my online courses, but so we can go home and have something right here in our hands.
Great. So, so how do we do that? I know that we understand some of the concept, but when we start to do that, it seems like there's a lot that gets in the way, right? Do you experience that? Like things that...
Yeah, for sure. Like, for example, the outer life, right? We are living usually Western lives that we're listening here. We live busy lives. We do have to take care of our physical life. We have family, we have children, responsibilities. We also have the desire to express ourselves, to be creative. If it's not making money driven, it's at least driven towards living our purpose in life. One or the other wants us to go out and be and do and create and discover and be externally oriented. But the power and the energy to be effective in the outside, we get primarily, and this is the challenging part, on the inside first.
Right.
So if we're getting up and going, okay, let me do this, and believe me, this happens to me. I have to say, Ilona, sit down, focus. Be quiet first, sharpen your tools first, then go out and do whatever you want to do. And that's why I give away, and this is the free gift here that we are offering. One of them is the app that guides you in the morning for about 10 minutes to close your eyes and to start listening to your inner voice. And before we get there, we need to calm down. So one of the easiest techniques to calm down is not to sit still and say, okay, I'm calm, because that doesn't work for most people. We do best if we have something to put our attention on. So I guide people to discover their place of peace, which goes really beautifully with your show, right? Our internal dimensional mind can create a reference point by having at least one favorite, but you can have multiples, one favorite place of peace. And even as I say it, for me, it opens a vista of being at a beach with white sand and turquoise water. For some people, it's in the mountains. Some people, even it's in their bedroom. It doesn't really matter where, as long as we habitually practice a routine. And some people call it the ritual, even if it's just lighting a candle, sitting down, and taking 3 deep breaths. Whatever you do, but I guide people to imagine a place of peace. So then with time, you practice. And even people who don't see really well, it doesn't matter. You just imagine being at the place of your favorite location, a peaceful place. And as you do, you rehearse. And rehearse is repeated experience and exposure to a particular experience, a thought. You experience that peacefulness penetrating all of your cells. So you create a habitually entrained mind flow of creating peacefulness within yourself. Now, I have a number of those routines, techniques, you can call them rituals. I'm not a ritual person, but when I sit down to eat, I always light a candle and look at my husband's eyes again and again prolongedly while we eat. That can create a sense of calmness, centeredness, and peacefulness. And it moves you inward so that then you can start listening to the little voices that say, open your heart. I hurt here. Maybe my anger is still here. I need to listen to this. And all the things that are in the way may come up first, but we get to look at them. Mm-hmm. Whereas if we are busy and we keep focusing outward, we don't hear the emotional components that are boiling like the iceberg, only sticking out a tiny little bit, and we go down, boy, down, boy. Right. It is in the moment of silence, and even if we go to our place of peace, we create a habit of peacefulness that then allows us to surface the feelings that are in the way. And in my book, I give the technique that I learned from Dr. Vern Wolf. I wrote about him in my book, Wisdom of the Dolphins, as well. I did dolphin research, and it's phenomenal what I found out. But Dr. Vern Wolf is the one who developed holodynamics, a genius, and I called him my time traveler in my first book. He developed a technique that he used on drug-addicted kids, on an entire community of 250,000 people, and got all the kids back off of drugs by getting them to ask these feelings that are in the way. Let's say in my silence, my anger comes up. I'm hurt. Something went wrong. I feel that feeling. I ask that feeling, what is it? What are you feeling? What are you doing? What color do you have? What shape? And then I ask it, what do you really want? And by asking my internal state, even the one that's in the way of my peace, right. When I ask it, what do you really want? It goes, oh my God, somebody is listening. Mm-hmm. And reveals the true intention behind the anger. Maybe it's to be seen, to be heard, to be loved, to be fairly treated, and in my first book, to be I write, and in my book, Dream Big, I write about miracle stories that I achieved with exactly that process of asking that which is in the way what it really wanted. Mm-hmm. And it trains our intuition because we start sourcing inwardly and we start realizing, and this is the most important aspect, that the world around us is a reflection of the world within us. Mm-hmm. And when we start paying attention to the world within us by going into silence, focusing our mind maybe on a place of peace, then we can listen to the parts that are in the way and ask them what they want. And we allow, firstly, inwardly, to create an internal expression of its potential, of the potential of what the negativity really wants. Now, I had trash cars lined up in my peaceful, blissful paradise world in Hawaii, where we used to live right by about Dolphin Beach doing dolphin research. I asked those junker cars, and my anger about those junker cars, what it really wanted. And my anger wanted a beautiful, peaceful world around me. Within 20 minutes, even though my neighbor had told me that for 3 months she had tried to call the municipalities. I had just arrived back from America and overseas teaching, and we had been gone for few 3, 4, 5 months. She had called the municipalities to pick up the trash junk cars, 3 of them that had been dropped off within 100 yards on our road that ended in a national forest. And she said, no results, nothing, not happening. I sat to meditate. I dealt with the anger that came up at my beautiful, peaceful place being so disfigured. And I looked at the anger and I said, what do you really want? And it said, I want my beautiful, peaceful environment back. I want to live in heaven on earth. Within 20 minutes, the cars were being picked up. Now, at first I didn't check. I just kept meditating and I thought those sounds could be.
What is it?
People coming to pick up metal. But I thought, well, down the road, they're building a house. So who knows? Maybe it's that. That evening we checked. All the junk cars were gone. I wrote about that in the book. I was co-authored with Brian Tracy, who has written a lot about goal setting and the mindset of goal setting and being powerfully successful. And that book's called Success Blueprint, and I was co-authored in there. And I co-authored with Jack Canfield, who wrote Chicken Soup of the Soul. And I wrote another story where I'm sitting in an airplane being all upset that we're rerouted to another airport. And I did the same thing, clicking my heels like Dorothy, saying, I'm no longer in Kansas. And I'm saying, what I really want is be on time for my dolphin swim seminar. And again, we land and then we are told, nope, actually we didn't land there. We landed somewhere else, right where I had hoped we were. Now, I'm telling us all, start small. Start calming your mind down. So in the middle of upset or hurt, you can still go inward and say, wait a second, dear universe, something isn't working, right? What do I feel? Where is my anger? What does it really want? And instead of like what I really want is what does it really want? It's much easier. I externalize my anger is not necessarily a me thing, but an it thing that wants something, that has a beautiful intention. And I can forgive it for being so angry. And I can ask it for what it really wants. And as much as I'm using the voice that we're used to using when we talk to children, talking fairy tales, it's in the right brain. The voice that I talk to when I use that language is talking to the right brain, which is the part of the brain that uses imagery. It's the part of our emotions. You know, if I talk to my feeling body with scientific professor language, okay, dude, what do you really want? Not dude, you know. I mean, come on, you know, get it together and be decent, all right? I mean, where is the logic in all this? There is no logic. We will not have the results. So we need to learn to talk to the intuitive part, which is much softer, much more multidimensional and feeling oriented as well. But once we make the connection that our external world is a reflection of our internal world, and we take time to go inward, to talk about, to sense what this is and talk with it, we can discover what it really wants. And in the process of doing that, we sharpen the intuition of our subconscious mind and our superconscious. And we start connecting the higher and the human and the emotional dimensions. Mm-hmm. So our intuition is an internal process of knowing things without knowing how, which brings in information from multiple dimensions into our awareness. But doing so requires, first of all, that we quiet down and also source the feelings of what we might feel is in the way, to communicate with that, and then start seeing the relationship between the inside and the outside, and take the time to do the house cleaning on our emotional body.
So it's interesting the way that you talk about how you go in and you ask the resistance inside, or the anger inside, or the what's in the way inside, what it wants,
Right.
and that the desire comes from there. It makes a lot of sense to me, because I've come across this in doing healing before, but I never quite thought about it in the way that you just brought it up. Because I think for me, this has come up, and I think for other people too, that when you really ask the question, what do I want? Like we were just saying, me, like the greedy part of me, or the bigger part of me, what do I want? That it's so overwhelming that it's hard to really hone in and find, what is it that I really want? So that part is the part that I was thinking is like, where do you go with that? Because there's so many things and it's so big.
Yeah, exactly. And so you can cut it down into small bite sizes by simply attending on a daily basis to whatever feelings come up. I mean, even if it's the feeling of stress and feeling like I'm not really in touch with myself, which I think happens to most people most of the time, just doing a pre-rehearsed behavior, an anchor that you've practiced, such as 3 deep breaths in the middle of an emotional moment, or even semi-emotional moment, just after getting up and listening to whatever the kids in the news, and I don't know what people do. It's like, take a moment to take 3 deep breaths, take a cup of tea for 5 minutes and sit down. I provide people with the free app called Living from Vision Light. Living from Vision, I have a surprise for you at the end. I cooked up for you. I want to make it easy for people to want to develop. It's my heart's calling, and I've been doing it for 30 years, and I've done it internationally, and I see that all of us humans are the same. It's easy for us to get caught up in the outside world. It takes a little bit of effort to go inside. So whatever anchor you can practice, it may be 3 deep breaths. It may be taking a cup of tea, just closing your eyes, or doing an alternate nostril breath just for a couple minutes, or listening to some guided meditation every morning, every evening. If you get used to just a few key behaviors, just a few times during the day, you will start accessing your intuition already, because the intuition is eager to come out, to talk with you. The inner little voice is constantly giving us directions. Don't do this, move here, wait. Basically, our human self walks in time and space at this level. But we have a time and space at each vibratory space of existence. And if we are aware, for example, in a night dream, right, we might have a week or a day-long experience, but only 20 minutes went by in physical dream time, right? Our perception of time, our experience of time changes. As you raise your vibration, a lot more can happen in very short physical time. So if you train your intuition, I will use this word, time body will expand, and you will start sensing things ahead of you and behind you. And so you have to start, or you can start living with a much greater overview. And you will know things that will happen in advance, and you will know things that happened in the way distant past. That's when people have access to past lives. You need to raise the bar of your vibration internally, which happens through silence. It happens through raising your awareness to the center of creation, to God or the source. Even just awareness, to raising your awareness to your own soul, to that pinnacle of pure consciousness that you are. If you raise yourself into that core center of yourself, something else starts happening. You activate that part which exists at a reality that vibrates much finer and encompasses the information of past and future, depending on your purity of vibration, that is this big, or this big, or this big. The seers of India, the rishis, had an ability to see far in the past and far into the future. Now, if I'm just a little bit further in my evolution, I can see what's coming in the next 10 minutes. And my inner voice is going to say, turn left, slow down. When I first started training my intuition, I said, teach me how to cook rice. And I would put rice, boil it, and then say, okay, 40 minutes. I put the lid on, turned it down to simmer, and then I listened to that little inner voice that said, go now, open the lid, it's done. And it got accurate. It got to the point where just the last moment I opened it, I fluffed it, all the water was gone. A minute longer and it would be burned. So that's when you can train your intuition with something that you can check with, like cooking rice, or my grandfather would like listen to his intuition and open the gate for the cars to come in for our guests. Well, he checked, because then invariably 5 minutes later the car would arrive. Well, if he wasn't accurate, he would know, oh, wait a second, today that wasn't on. It was my pretend inner voice. So we need to learn to find out which of the voices are talking and which one is accurate. Because there are multiple dimensions that try to direct us. We need to find the true north and the source of our soul. And the purer we are with our intention of going to the source, God, our soul, or whatever it is that we call our true north, we'll learn what that voice feels like, what it sounds like, and it's not the worry wart type of watch it, there is a car coming every 2 seconds, watch it. No, it's the one that says slow down now, turn left, turn right, and you follow. I practiced with dolphins. I wouldn't see any dolphins, and I heard this inner directive that says dive now, down, dive. I didn't see any dolphins. I dove down. I kept looking straight. Invariably the dolphins would come straight at me. I would have been too late if I hadn't dove down to meet them. If I would have waited till they were in visual cue and then dove down, they could have interpreted me as a threat, which is aiming for them, and I would have gone for them once I saw them, which is too late. So I was down to meet them. So practice. This is not necessarily something that'll happen overnight. However, it may happen within just a few weeks of you training. I have so many people who've gone through seminars, like where I teach the holographic imaging transformation technique that I write about in my books. I have it on my online courses. People tell me when they do this transformational process of problems that are being transformed through the dialogue, when you go into the dialogue with your problems, your intuition will be automatically trained, because you're sensing something that is in non-physical, right? You're dialoguing and you're transforming and you're learning the language of that inner dimension. So when you pay attention to apparently even what's in the way and you deal with it, you live in the peaceful world, which will reflect outside of you, and you learn how to listen to that dialogue that happens on the inside, and practice with something where you get feedback.
Right. Yeah, that's that's a really good way to do it. I, as you were talking about the rice, I remember that I've done that with eggs. I always do that with eggs, like a boiled egg.
Right.
And you never know until you crack it open, but you have to crack it open right at the right time and boil it just the right amount of time and
take it out.
So, to train with those little things, that's a really great advice, because the big things it's not as immediate. We don't see it necessarily. Well, you're saying it's immediate, but
yeah, we do. But you want to develop faith. You want to, certainty. You want to develop that sense of being accurate. You want to know, what does it sound like when the right voice comes in, when that right direction comes in. You want to be able to appreciate. So see me?
You're
yeah. So now it's back now. It's okay now?
You were breaking up a little there. Okay.
So we want to practice. What does it sound like when the right voice comes in, or the right direction? Maybe you feel it. Maybe it's a nudge. Maybe it's a sound. Maybe it's a vision. Each one of us receives the language of the intuition differently. So we want to find out which of our channels do we use, and how does it register inside of me, and then to act appropriately. And you want feedback. So this is a life journey to discover that we are multidimensional. We don't only exist in the physical world where we get information through our logical mind, but we get it at higher frequencies, and we need to learn to read those frequencies. And once we do, we can rely on it. It is so amazing what we can know, that, you know, it appears like the Plato cave allegory. The people who live with the shadows go, no, this is all that is. And you've ventured out of the cave and you see the sunlight and the colors, and you come back to your cave people and you say, there is a whole world out there. And they go, no, it hurts to be out in the light, you know. It may have taken a little bit of time to train your eyes to see out in the real bright light once one was used to the cave light, right? But that time is worthwhile. Once you go out and see the beauty of life, you'll stay out there and you'll be the one teaching other people how to do it. So that's what I've done. That's what I'd love to do. And that's why I give away the app for free for people to practice. And whenever we have a moment, I'd like to make a special offer to whoever wants to practice even further. That'd be awesome.
Yes. Well, I would love to keep talking to you about the dolphins and everything, but we have run out of time. So yes, please do share with us about what you have to offer.
Well, I'm also very happy to talk longer about the dolphins. Here, let me just tell the special offer. Because it's your show, Kim, I decided on a coupon that's called LFV Kim, K-I-M. When people go to a link that I'm going to send you, if you put that on the page where I'm going to be on, here, you know, we're starting our year out right now. We're starting our year out, particularly right now when this is airing live. It's the first of the year. Right. And we want to, hopefully all of us, develop ourselves to become better beings. So we have a course, it's called Living from Vision. It goes over 5 weeks where you practice setting goals, achieving them, working from the inside out, pre-creating your future success as imagery and feeling, and have the whole brain work to communicate with the universe, to create results. I've been teaching this for over 30 years worldwide. We have it even in Chinese and Czechoslovakian. We have it in German, French, English, Spanish. We have people in Africa everywhere doing this course. And we also train teachers who are coaches for this. If you want, you can contact me on this. But for your audience, I want to give a special offer. Then if they click on that link and add this special coupon called LFV K-I-M, Kim, they get $100 off.
Wow.
Yes. So let's do that. And they just click on that link, put in, they can read about the course, and then when they enroll, they put in where it says add coupon. That's where they put the coupon code LFV Kim in there, and it takes off $100. And then the course normally costs $345, and they'll get it for $100 off. So $245. It's forever yours, forever. You can repeat it, and that's what a lot of people do. They regularly repeat it, and you get the app that goes with it. For 5 weeks, every week, every morning and evening, you practice a different skill set. How to talk with your higher self, how to develop inner guides, how to communicate with them, how to develop visions, and how to talk with your problems, how to develop and find your purpose in life, your values, and how to come into completion. All that we practice over 5 weeks because it takes about 40 days to develop a new habit. So that's what I want to offer. For the new year especially, because a lot of people set goals and they set it one day and then 2 weeks later it's like, well, what was that again? So we do need to, it's a practice, it's a lifestyle, and it becomes so fulfilling. After you live in it, it's like awesome. Life flows. Life flows because you work from the inside out with the inner dimensions. But I'm very happy to talk with you about dolphins and whatever else you can come up with this time or another time, whenever you want to.
That's a great and very generous offer, and I'll sign up. So awesome. Everybody come join us together. Thank you so much for being with us, and we'll talk about other stuff another time. And thank you everybody for being here with us, and we'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thank you. And yes, the dolphin stories I'd love to talk with you about. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you.